Mr. Chairman, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are at this stage of the debate looking at the title of this bill, and you've had a number of suggestions as to how we could better title this bill. And I thought I would remind the House that it's not that long ago that I think it was the Law Commission, or it might have been the Legislation Advisory Committee, told this House that we must have titles on bills that reflect the intention of that bill. It's very important that we have proper titles on bills, so when the public pick it up and they read it or they see the heading, they know what that bill reflects. Precisely. And I have thought for a long time that was very good advice given to any government when they are bringing in a piece of legislation. It must be a title that reflects the intention of the bill. And I have to say that this title does not, Mr. Chairman, by any measure, because it's called Social Housing Reform Flexible Purchasing Remedial Matters Bill, and you've got to go to the first word. That is reform. Reform. What does reform mean? It implies improvement. It implies improvement. And we're being told that these reforms are improvements, but no evidence has been given in this debate for improvement, no research, no evaluation, no reports given by anybody that this is an improvement in social housing in New Zealand. I would have liked just one bit of evidence that this has been looked at properly. But instead, we're going to push it through under urgency, even though part of it's been done for 4 years, and no evaluation or no input from the public has been heard or held. So how can we say that how do we know that this reform is going to be an improvement? It should be removed from the title of the bill, because that's what it implies. Then the next words are flexible purchasing. Well, everybody knows what that means, so why not just say what it is? It is the sell-off of state houses to other organisations. But not to community groups. That was the intention when they had their regulatory impact statement done with a little bit of consultation with the community sector and published it back in March. That was the intention. But what happened in the meantime? Campbell Roberts, one of the most respected people, I think, in the Salvation Army, came out and said, no, we can't participate in this great social housing reform flexible purchasing arrangement. We can't participate because we cannot afford to buy the houses, because we would be in debt for 10 years and we would have to change what our philosophy and our approach is in terms of the provision of services by the Salvation Army. They are there to help protect and lift up the most vulnerable in our community. And if their money and their attention had to go into buying houses under this community housing project, they told us they could not stick to their core values, philosophy and principles in terms of providing those services. So they pulled out. But the problem was, you had the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister going around New Zealand telling New Zealanders this is a great policy because the Salvation Army will take the houses. They will be part of the flexible purchasing arrangement. And that fell flat on its face. And we do not now know who the flexible purchasers are going to be in the community sector, because we know of none, and neither does the government. But what we do know is there are flexible purchasers out there who are very, very interested in buying up cheaply state houses. And I have to say that my colleague Phil Twyford is correct. They are property developers. If the members opposite, and I understand that many of them are new constituency members, so maybe they haven't had so much contact with their constituents at this stage, or maybe they don't have many state houses. But if they go out and look, they will see that state houses are already being sold off to property developers at knockdown prices. There are plenty of examples. Go out and look. state houses sold to property developers at knockdown prices. How does that, Mr Chairman? How does that improve, Mr Chairman?
I call David Cunliffe.